Microphone is off. Sorry, YouTube. Apologies. Apologies. Well, what I was just saying, we are at a key level, guys, on the higher time frame. Apologies, guys, on gold. We are rejecting on the higher time frame, tapping into the daily resistance, 4-hour resistance. We are bullish, well, technically bearish in structure in the daily, but we are forming high lows, higher highs, and counter probabilities to the upside. But seeing we are at that 4-hour resistance, and we have the 30-minute structure now being bearish, we have a catalyst to look for sells from not right where we are, but from below the most recent support below the current level. Let's just look at it. I'm just going to use that whole, the bearish candle low, otherwise you don't really have a zone. So for me on gold, just going to now remove this zone and add multiple zones. So to the upside, I know we've got a zone a little bit higher up. I'm not going to worry about that for the time being because we're far off it. I'll readjust this zone if and when need be, if we do approach that level. But I'm marking a level just here as well. So that is pretty much the start of the 4-hour zone as well. So what I can see on gold is, seeing now the M30 is bearish. The daily candle itself, the high of the daily candle is the high of the resistance, which leads into the 4-hour level there. So if we were to remain below that point, I would definitely be looking for my options to take sell. So upon the pullback, as long as I get the right confirmation to do so, that being one of my price action signals, I have many, with one of them present from that level, that I can look for a sell upon the pullback. Now, although we will be trading into a 4-hour resistance and a high time frame resistance, off the back of the weekly candle, the strength of the weekly candle, if we were to start to close above the current daily candle's high, the resistance formed at that level, seeing we have pulled back down to create a low. Obviously, this is the current daily candle's low. We have popped up to create the daily high. We pull back down to now create that higher low slash equal low and begin to pop above and close above this resistance. What we can see is we've got some high clean traffic to the left, and at that point is a high probability price will come back up to retest the weekly candle's high. So that being said, I will be looking for potential buy options above that resistance. Price does begin to pop above it. Now, obviously, current daily candle's low, we have pulled back, so we form support at the low. We are bearish on a 30-minute time frame. We have rejected a 4-hour resistance. So if we were to come back down to the current daily candle's low and we will start to pop below that point there, I would also be keen on looking for my options to sell it. So sells below the current daily candle's low upon continuation. The way I've looked for an entry will all depend on the approach. It will likely require, well, it will require, sorry, a closure below. Reason being is because it's a Friday, plus the way the market's been of late, there's been a lot of these little fake outs when price wicks out of a range, wicks up or down, and looks like it's going to make the move and then just pulls all the way back in. So as I mentioned yesterday, one of the only ways to sort of fight that, and to, it doesn't give you any guarantee but gives you a more higher probability, is by simply waiting for the closure below, a retest and continuation. And that is what I'll be looking for the potential sells on gold, guys. So hopefully that makes sense. If it does, make sure to YouTube you guys hit the like button, and TikTok you guys hit that screen for me. And that is gold. So we can quickly look at GJ. No entry just now on gold. Let's quickly look at GJ prior to the news in the next few minutes. We'll likely have to readjust the zones though. But what I can see on GJ is we are forming a very strong bearish candle. So based off that, would prefer to sell it, but the issue is with selling it, we are at a higher time frame support, so it's not going to be the easiest sells upon continuation. Just doesn't mean we can't get involved. We'll see what we've got below that once we go down to the minor time frames. There may be some clean traffic. Onto the daily time frame, obviously we are bearish in structure, we are trending bearish. Momentum is all to the downside. The daily, we have a little bit more margin to the downside once we begin to break the current daily candle's low. Let's mark that level in. Also marking the current daily candle's high. Obviously, we've had very little volume within the candle today so far during the Asian session. I'm sure that will change shortly with the news to come. So we are technically bearish with counter probabilities also to the downside. 4 hour is also technically bearish. We are just in a heavier consolidation. not quite really tapping into anything at the moment. We still have margin to the downside, so let's just mark in that level to the downside around that 188.60. Let's also mark in the current daily low. Resistance, I mean, we've got resistance just here. Let's go down to the 30-minute time frame, and that is also quite evidently bearish. It definitely is, yes. Just adjust that zone ever so slightly. To the upside, just going to incorporate these highs for the time being. All right, so that being said, guys, more keen on looking for the sells today. In a massive downtrend at the moment, being a Friday, on Fridays and Mondays as well, I generally like to trade line with either the strength of the weekly candle or the actual bias itself. If it's overwhelmingly in one direction, which in this case it is, it's bearish across the board, I would rather look for the sells. On gold, it's a little bit different because gold, we've got against, I mean, the weekly is forming a strong bullish candle, but what we do have is that 30-minute structure being bearish. So that gives me options in either direction, whereas GJ, I'd rather just look to trade it in line with the structure and the bias, the trend. So what I'll be looking for is price to pull back up, or it pulls up to 190.50 and rejects. I can look for, obviously, my price action catalyst to look for a sell to take them back down. Now, those of you wondering what sort of catalyst, you guys, if you just stick around and you're here on the regular, you'll pick up on what those are quite quickly. So we've got the news just now, guys. EU open, not London, EU. So obviously sells even higher up upon the pullback towards that 198.50. I'd also be looking for rejection of that zone. And sells, let's see what we've got below the low. Let's just have a look at it to the left. Let's mark in some levels. All right, so it looks like we do have some margin. The issue is the news being released just now, so price could just drop. But with that being with the news, seeing it's a news related drop, definitely not going to trust it, because we saw yesterday a similar thing happen and pop straight back up, end up closing back near its open on the news counter itself. So let's see if we can adjust this zone a little bit. Most definitely can. All right, so that's gonna be my zone. So we need to wait, in my opinion, 28 minutes on GJ, and let's see where we're at. If we close below, we could potentially look for sell options. So I want to see closures below 189.787, and then I will contemplate sells. And I want it to be on a 30-minute, seeing this is a news release candle. So I want to see what happens on the closure of the M30. Hopefully that all makes sense, guys. Yeah, so it is a Friday. Fridays can be a little bit, you know, freaky at the best of times. So we're just going to wait patiently and see what, if anything, does, you know, eventuate. If anything does give us a quality option to look for a trade on either gold or GJ. Meantime, guys, how are we all doing today? YouTube, Sean, Beats. Right, thank you for that, Beats, by the way. I didn't see that. I didn't glance quickly at the YouTube chat. I would have been on mute the whole time, probably until now. Franco, good morning to you, mate. And everyone in the TikTok chat, Matt, Manu, Verona, Positive Vibes, Dre, Jeremy, Nerso, Courtney, Ozen, thank you for the follow. Thank you for everyone else who's followed. Amine, well, g'day to you, man. Welcome, ladies and gents. Jay, good morning to you, bro. Feel free to ask questions, guys. If you would like me to look at any particular pair, I'm happy to do so. While we wait, there is, you know, I'm more than happy to take a look for you. Rona, how you doing? You locked in, ready to go? Yeah, all good, man. I'm all good. Had a busy day on my end, but always locked in when it comes to session time. Once again, I'm just going to do the same thing I always do, and eventually I may get my options. Yesterday it happened after the stream. I did call out a nice win on gold at about 9 PM Oz time, I think it was, or 10 PM. It was about 9 p.m. Oz time, so a couple hours after this, about an hour and a half after the stream, we got a nice option to trade gold for a buy, and I secured full position at 20 pips on gold yesterday. It was just here. Yep, I secured the bag at 100% at 20 pips, so it was a nice win. Balled out in the VIP, so Matt, have a look at USD CAD. Will do in just 1 second. Amine, I'm still new to Forex trading. Hopefully one day I'll start really soon. Yeah, just take your time, man. So there's no rush. You need to be prepared because it really there is so much to it, and there's so many ways you can skin a cat. So make sure you're following the right people. Make sure you've found something that maybe you can make them resonate and give it a bit of a crack. And if you do, just give it a bit of time to try it out properly. And you find that, you give yourself every opportunity anyway once you start putting money into to have a decent crack at it. It's a different story once you actually start putting the cash in, though. Very different story, because the emotions start to play effect. Buy gold a little bit, see if there's anything brewing. All right, so USD CAD as per the request from the TikTok chat. Let's quickly look at USD CAD. Now let's do some quick top-down analysis. So the weekly is currently forming bearish, a weak bearish candle, long wicks to the downside, rejecting, obviously, it's rejecting 143 flat, but similar to all the other majors, a lot of strength in US dollar right now. So again, if we begin to break the resistance here at the higher time frame, then it could be off to the races again. On to daily time frame, that is bullish in structure. You also have counter probabilities to the upside. On the daily, you can be looking at target at 1.44242, so it's about 16-17 pips. Not a great deal, but still enough to secure some profits as a scalper. 4-hour structure actually appears to be bearish from this big impulse from the highs to the downside, or actually I might take that back, it's bullish from this big impulse to the upside, a bit further to the left. Last real swing point is back here at 142.10, so you can argue the 4 hours technically bullish. The 4 hour also looks like it's potentially running out of a bit of steam. These candle bodies closing quite shallow at the moment, so it's a bit of a slow trickle up. We are at some resistance here to the left. It's going to be tricky buying it, in my opinion, at the current level. 30-minute structure is also bullish, so bullish across the board. That being said, wouldn't want to be buying it at the moment into the resistance and even above it. In this sort of situation, what I prefer to see is, well, first of all, I prefer to look to see if you can get a pullback for a buy from a bit lower down around that 143.950 sort of region. Otherwise, I would not want to be first in a move, because you'd probably be trying to get involved multiple times, being stopped out before it actually makes that first proper move. So let it create a clean move to cut through the mess to the left, then clean pull back, obviously clean it better, form a support to create that high low. There could be an option to buy it. If you were looking for a sells at the moment, I'd want to see a little bit of consolidation just here. And if price was to reject again this 4 hour zone, start to close below consolidation, then there's a high probability we could come back down towards that 143.950. So that would be a sell option. Otherwise, I'd be waiting for the buyers on the pullback or continuation, but once it's created that clean move and break and sort of retest entry. Hopefully that makes sense. And if it did, please make sure smash that screen. Corona, solid, thank you. Thank you for the follows, TikTok. Naz, kindly do Naz. Libs, FX. Oh well, so we still got time at GJ, guys, and see it's moving, but there's nothing. Gold's made a bit of a move, but there's no impulse entries, like I mentioned, without a really solid confirmation for me right now. So 15 was coming from without a solid confirmation. 15 was coming from consolidation, excuse myself. So for me, it was no actual valid entry just there. In order for there to have been a valid entry, what I would have wanted to see was this 15-minute candle closing more like so, closing above these candles to the left hand side, and then I would definitely consider looking for a buy option. So the way gold's been of late, best to wait for closures and try to avoid the impulse entries. It's going to work sometimes, but more often it's going to wreck you. All right, so looking at NAS and onto the weekly time frame, and we still have that lower high, lower low, obviously, but we are forming bullish. So based off that, what I normally do is look to within this candle for potential levels on the 4-hour and M30, and those are the levels we'll be pulling back to either form support at to head back up and potentially retest the highs, or those levels also provide potential entry points for sells if price was to begin to pop below those levels of support. Now, what we've got in a daily to add to the potential sell option is the fact that the structure itself is bearish. Not only that, we've got the previous daily closing bearish, leaving a long wick to the upside. So if we were to break the low of that previous daily candle, there was a high probability we could make a deeper pullback and potentially come all the way back down to that 2840 sort of region, 841. 4-hour structure is technically bullish. We have created a low, so since we create a higher high, looking at structure bullish, create a low. If we now reject though to create that lower high and begin to pop below that previous daily candle's low, you can see how I'm starting to add confluence and line things up, and I feel there's a high probability once again that price could come back down a little bit further towards that 2080 sort of region on the 4-hour time frame. Looking at on the 30, and that is technically bearish. So the bias is neutral at the moment. We've got the weekly candle itself being bullish. We've got the 30-minute and the daily structure as bearish. See if I can adjust this on a M15. Recently formed resistance at this point here, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the current daily high. It definitely is. Let's just mark that level in. Seeing that we have a neutral bias, and we within the 30-minute time frame, what we've done is created now a high, higher low, higher high. If we now come back down to this support only to respect it, then the option is to either look for the buys from support, or if we approach the high and begin to pop above the high, that's your other option to look for a potential buy, because at least we're forming some structure since we've formed support at the daily low, so the previous daily candle's low. So that is what I'd be looking for, the buys above. And as for the sells, so that's in line with the weekly candle itself. As for the sells, as I mentioned before, with the daily structure and the 30-minute structure being technically bearish, if we were to come back down to this support and only to begin to pop below it, eventually get there like so, then I feel there's a high probability that price will come back down towards the previous daily candle's low. But there's also going to be, in my opinion, some potential options to sell it on continuation below that low. So that's the 15-minute support, so we will leave it as is, and sells below the previous daily candle's low upon continuation. So hopefully that makes sense, my friend. That is my opinion of NAS. Very clean traffic below that previous daily candle's low as well, so looking pretty good structurally. Does look like a pretty clean chart, but yeah, just need to wait. GJ at the moment making a move again off the back of news. It's very, very risky, so just need to chill. Okay, we'll keep an eye on gold for the time being. Move that so for now. All right, thank you for all the follows, everyone on TikTok. Lau, good morning to you. Steve, good morning to you. Sketchmas, happy Friday to you. Alex, AU, sorry, UA, you're in sales from 166. EA, sorry, not UA. Used to be, I used to love killing this bear. You're in sales from 1.66. You're looking good, mate. Looking really good. Yeah, just be wary at support right now. Structurally, the 30-minute is also technically bullish, and it's retesting the last significant higher low. So if it remains above this swing point, it's technically bullish in structure. If it starts to pop below it, close below it, and we flip it bearish. Is it rejecting any 4-hour levels? Let's see. I mean, not quite. It's just broken above one, pulling back below the resistance. But there is still a range, a margin for it if it begins to flip to the upside. So just be a little bit wary of that. But again, I'm sure you should have a plan as to how you're going to manage this trade. And so far it's looking good. Especially if it breaks this support, you're looking really good. Junior, thoughts on QSI? What is QSI? Excuse my ignorance, I have no idea what it is. Is that what you're talking about? A stock? Yeah, I don't really do stocks, my friend, because all these gaps, I think it's hard to read. Yeah, sorry, mate. I stick to Forex, and I will look at the major cryptos as well. But I mean, I could try my best. Looking at this, the weekly is forming bullish, but got a lower high, lower low, big gap to the downside. Looks like it's filled that gap. Hope it's the right thing, by the way. Otherwise, this is just a waste of time looking at. Daily structure is bullish, but a mess. Counter probabilities to the upside. Again, it's very hard to know what to make of it with all these gaps in the market. 4 hour. Got a bit of resistance just here. It's not technically a bullish candle, but I'm just marking that low. That's your range between that $3 sort of level and 190. Yeah, so I'm giving it my best go with the big gaps in the market. I'd probably wait for price to come up towards that 28, 280 sort of region. Rejection for a sell. If it pops above it and closes above it, there's a high probability it's going to fill that gap to the upside. Oops. So that's what I'll be looking at. And that's pretty much it. Ethan Russ, Solana. Look at GJ. One sec, guys. All right, so yeah, it's a really nice strong close. Just gonna wait. That is the move right now. So yeah, not taking the move off the back of the news. Solana pains me to look at this thing. Let's just look at Binance. Sorry guys, just one moment. Alright, so this chart looks a little bit better. So looking at on the weekly time frame and forming a very strong bullish candle, almost engulfing that previous weekly candle. So big strong retracement against that previous weekly candle, bouncing off some resistance here, that 185 sort of region. So looking good for potential continuation. Once again, we can look to see within the weekly where potentially we could pull back to form a support to head up. What we've got in a daily though is we've got some resistance, some really strong level of resistance, a key level that we are fast approaching. Structurally, it remains bearish on the daily time frame, and it won't technically flip bullish until really above that 246 sort of region, these highs. Look, you could argue that's a swing, but I don't see two or more consecutive candles pulling back the opposite direction to the actual trend itself. That is at this point here around that 246, 47 region. the candle probabilities are to the upside. The 4-hour structure is definitely bullish. 4-hour looks like it has a little bit more room above 217 to potentially come up to 221 to 23 sort of region. As far as support, we'll just drop that in for the time being. We begin to break 208 roughly, and there's a good chance price could come back down to 2 sort of region. Now into the 30, and that is also bullish. So I mean, higher time frame, that being a daily, is bearish, but the other time frames are bullish. Now just adjust this to that point there. What I'd be saying, what I'm seeing on Solana, let's just see what's the left. Yeah, I'd want to see closures above 215.47. Prices to pop above it, nice strong closure above it, retest, and I'd be looking for the continuation buy if that was to be the case. So buys above. Buys also upon a deeper pullback. Otherwise, if it did reject, seeing it's rejected now multiple times this current region at 215, psychological number as well. So if it was to reject, I'd just be looking for a little bit of minor support to form around that point, similar to what we had here, and then look for a potential entry as it begins to pop below it. Preferably look for a closure blow. For instance, in this case, that may have been your trigger, this candle here. So that's something I'll be looking at on Solana. Don't really trade the cryptos. Well, I don't really trade them that much, to be honest. Something I will and want to and have had the intention to look into more. And I eventually will. Far on, what about fair value gap, or on what? I don't trade fair value gaps. I do understand them, but I don't need to trade them because what I do works for me, so there's no point. Like I always mention, there's so many ways you can skin a cat. Just do whatever works for you. You're seeing a small dog, that's nice. LTC will be the first ETF 2025. No idea. Again, I don't really follow crypto much, to be honest. LTC targets. Let's just look at it on ByBit. ByBit's the best exchange in the world, in my opinion. I think it's great. Yeah, I'm a scalper, so I know what, swing traders will use the fib. If we break this level, then the next level we, extend the flagpole and all that crap. And I don't know, it's not crap, but I mean, it's what works for them. I don't trade like that. So they have, I have target levels to the left. So for me, a target would be this level here. So it's a realistic target, 159 roughly. And then if it breaks above that and it starts to close above it and form some structure above it, minor time frames, I mean 279 is next, and then obviously the highs again. That's how I'd look at it, to be honest. Win, bullish. What are we bullish on? Alright guys, GJ, let's just keep a bit of an eye on it. What options may we have? Let's look at it on the 15. Let's see if we can get the data to pop up. Let's mark in a few levels here. Alright, so below 189.340, we have some pretty clean traffic. See it on the 30 as well. Yeah, I think it's a fair level. Why does it keep doing this? This freaking... Sorry guys. The playlist. I swear I looped it, but it just won't loop for whatever reason. Just give me 2 seconds. I don't want to get a strike for YouTube. TikTok, I'll eventually another one. It's just a given, whatever reason. All right, let's see if that's gonna work. All right, sorry guys. Sean, Steve, we went to you. Sean just closed really good trade. I was lucky as well though, but I entered this trade around 6:15. Entered selling GU, entry 1.2217. There is, well, I suppose there is always the element of luck in trading, but if you've done your homework and you've set your plan and executed accordingly, then it's just another trade, to be honest. Luckily, when news came in, it went in my favor. Yeah, see, I mean, again, that's a little bit, gotta be careful of that when your news comes out. But yeah, all good, well done. Good morning to you. Loyalty family, EJ, you just sold it. As far as price action, it's not a bad sell, but it's got no upper wick. It's gapped to the downside, rejecting resistance here, but you're taking it lower highs. It breaks the low of that bullish candle, so I can understand it. What I would say is it's tapped in the target, and look how it's bounced off it. So hopefully you've secured some profits, because for me that would have been the target just there, and that's exactly where it's bouncing off at the moment. Same as GJ, it's tapped into a target, and look what it's doing. So definitely focused on gold, guys. We've got 4.5 minutes left of this candle. Muscal, g'day to you. Silver, gold, bullish. Long term, definitely. Again, it's not investment advice, but I think silver and gold, especially physical silver and gold, is it's a no-brainer for me. Definitely bullish on both. Pretty sure they're both fight against the Aussie dollar. They're very bullish. Yeah, silver's picked up a little bit of steam to begin the year. Definitely bullish on both, especially for the long term. Silver's been lagging gold of late. Gold had a 26 or 27% increase last year. Silver was also quite high, about 25. But usually when gold flies, silver will at least, well, it's a more volatile asset, so you find silver will, you know, pump maybe 30 or 35 sort of percent in the same year normally, if that was to be the case. It's a bit like the altcoins to Bitcoin, silver to gold. It makes bigger moves, but also makes bigger pullbacks as well. Thank you for all the follows, guys. I appreciate it. Everyone on TikTok, could you look at silver and gold ratio? What's the ticker? Is it just XAU to XHG to XAU? I have no idea what the ticker is. No. What's the ticker? Or is there no ticker? Yeah, it's like, I think it's about 90 at the moment anyway. So yeah, I do like purchasing physical silver. I'm gonna be careful how I term things because I'll get it banned. Sean, if anyone's interested, I'm looking at this. Got in breakout. Low line would be good. I missed it. So you can wait for a pullback. Anyway, I'll just pull up the chart. Yeah, it looks pretty good. $yen. Yeah, you got some clean traffic. Broken a minor resistance, you got a closure above it, so let's tap back in. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Not sure, but you can hide. Yeah, that's all you do. It's just the price of gold divided by silver. So it's around, just by eyeballing it, it's about 90. Be a little bit less than 90. So if silver is vastly undervalued in comparison to its leader, gold. Yeah, look, I'm very keen on silver, to be honest. I think it's the most undervalued. Again, I've got to be careful what I say because I'll get a strike. I think it's very undervalued, that's all I'll say. Do your own research, it's not investment advice. Thank you for all the follows, you guys on TikTok, do appreciate it. So I do stream Monday to Friday. If you cannot find me though, it's because I've been banned again. It's already happened. I already lost this channel once. I didn't realize after, I think, calling off period of, you know, I can't remember how many days it is, 90 or 160 or something, they give you your channel back, your profile back. So if you can't find me here, make sure to have a look at my profile. There's a link in the bio for the YouTube stream, and you'll definitely find me there Monday to Friday. Free education, guys. You'll learn a lot. You definitely learn a lot about patience, and I'll teach you guys, you know, how to hunt for quality entries away from the stream as well. What I do is quite simple to follow, I believe. Members, I do apologize. I don't think I ever sent you a link. Anyway, it's set now if anyone is still about. Apologies. Israeli gold. Do I have helpers? No, look, I have a VIP and I do have a section what I call trade ideas, but it's not really a signal section. I don't just say, right guys, I'm buying gold here, this price, there's a target. What I will do is I'll explain what I'm looking at and when I think it could be valid or when it is valid. For instance, on gold yesterday, it's just when I'm on the charts though. It's not like I'm just sat there for 8 hours straight staring, waiting for a signal. If I just happen to be on a chart and I see something like I did yesterday on gold, I called it and it was a nice trade. So I do that, you know, I'm doing it more often this year than what I did last year. Last year I was a little bit slack with it, but this year I'm trying to call it at least once a day, a quality entry if I see something. Called multiples on a few days, but yeah. But I definitely offer a mentorship. Coaching, it's not just mentorship, you get actual coaching. You get classes with me. So I'm on a call with the team pretty much almost every day, almost every other day anyway. We've got Monday for an education session. It's just strictly an education session. Tuesday and Wednesdays NY, but we also educate at the same time while we wait. We even look at the simulator. We turn the simulator on and do some testing. Thursdays just depends really if I jump on a call for market update after the London session for pre-NY. And yeah, Sundays we have a market update and we do a sim session as well. We have a general chit chat. There's always something going on. But I'm always, again, easy to contact. So, alright, so gold just mucking about at the minute. A little bit difficult to it's not making up its mind, to be honest. It's not really giving us any definitive direction, so it's difficult to find solid entries at the moment. and GJ has tapped into a target, so GJ is also a little bit difficult at the moment. It's in a big downtrend, so I'm really just focused on the sellers onto the Friday for today. Israeli gold, all good, no problem. Carl, yeah, I know it's Zach for silver XAG. I was just wondering if you actually, there was some chart, what the ticker was for the actual chart itself for the gold silver ratio. But again, just eyeballing, you can tell by the price, silver's just over $30, gold is 27, so basic math, that's 393s, 39s, makes up 27, so it's roughly at 90. Yeah, little bit less. Sean, if you was me, so if I were you, would you bother trading anymore? Just be happy with the one trade? Oh, mate, on a Friday, I'd be done. 100%, I'd be done. I'd be happy with the win. What you do is you walk away, you know, being satisfied. And again, it should just be another trade, but on a Friday, especially, I mean, especially for me because of the time, I don't want to be sat in charts Friday late into the night. It's not why I trade. Oh, picked up. Losing connection. At least it's not a ban. Sorry guys, I feel lost connection there for a second. Yeah, so I trade because I can trade and, you know, I can choose what hours I want to trade, and if I get my option, I know if I stick to my plan, my rules, based off my accumulated data from the past, you know, 7-8 years of trading, I know there's a high probability of my trade being a winning trade. So again, I choose to look at the charts for maybe 2-3 hours a day, sometimes 4 if I do look in, you know, at pre-MY and CMY. And that's about it, because the last thing I want to do is turn it into like another full-time job. And what that will also lead to is just because you sat there for, you know, let's just say 8 to 10 hours like a normal office day, and you're more likely to trade a lot more. And as good as it sounds, a lot of the time it's detrimental, because you're just going to, for the sake of it, right, I'm just buying GJ. It's tapped into support. We've got 5-minute nice strong bullish candle there. We're consolidating, we're going to go up, we're respecting support. Do you know what I mean? Like you could just justify anything, and it becomes laborious. It just becomes another full-time job, and that's not why I'm trading. Sean, fair play, man. That's right, yeah, exactly. What is your why for trading? My why for trading came about 8 years ago, pretty much. And I thought there was a better way to make money, and a way where I could really be where I want to be. And you know, I can pretty much work from anywhere in the world. It's always good to have a why and stay focused. It's always good to have a plan. I mean, that I wrote that down in my trade plan. I know my whole trade plan up here. The original trade plan from about 7-8 years ago. Did adjust it once or twice in between when I started scalping, but for the most part, the main things remain the same. It's always good. I always recommend to have a trade plan, and also have a little paragraph at the very beginning of it explaining the reason why you're trading. And as you know, corny as it sounds, what it does is when you're having a bad day, or you can't be bothered, or you're just not feeling it, or you did something stupid and you lost a bit of money, if you have your plan, I don't need it again because I got it on top of my head, but if you have it sat at the computer next to you or whatever, have a read of that top paragraph again and say to yourself, well, this is why I'm doing it. The easy way is to quit. Losers quit. Don't give up. Just don't give up. It takes time. It might take someone, you know, 3 months, might take someone 4 or 5 years till they see some results. Worst thing you do is just give up. So just stick with it. It's going to take you time. How long, no one knows. There's no magic formula. I'm not saying the way I trade is the best way to trade. It may be for certain people, it may work. Also for others, some just won't get it. But you know, you need to decide for yourself what you could potentially make work for you. It could be scalping, could be swing trading, could be micro scalping. Could be the way I trade, could be the way someone else trades. Give something a go, a proper go, and see if you can make it work for yourself. Sean's taken me about 6 years, I think, something around that. Yep, see, there you go. Sorry.
Hey, good morning, man.
Franco, how are you, brother?
Hi. Thank you, fine. And you?
All good, thank you.
Oh, that's good to hear. So, tough days, I think so, for trading.
Yeah, it's been that way. It just requires a lot of patience. So for me, the best trade of the week came obviously yesterday on goal.
Yeah, I was not on the charts yesterday. Yeah,
but again, when it comes, no one knows. Yesterday came after stream. Cakes, can you please check the level 189 270? I most definitely can. 270. All right, so let me have a look at here. Yeah, it could be a little bit different depending on the broker you're using. I can see a level at 243. That's about 10 pips away from the level I've got marked in here. So what I'd probably be wary of if I was to look for trades below the blue zone, I'd be wary of the fact that we do have some more minor support at this 189 243, might be 27 on your chart. And I'd say to myself, probably gonna have to manage it if it does pull back to that level, pull back at that level. And again, maybe just get to break even in case it does bounce off this level, because these are all minor levels, so no one knows when or if it's going to bounce back off those levels. It may pop down further before it makes any sort of retracement, but there are previous levels of data, so it could bounce off this level, could bounce off the current level, we don't know. So I'd probably just get to break even and see if it continues, or if not, then not worried about it. But with GJ at the moment, I mean, it's gonna be tough. We've got 20 bitments left of this 15. Haven't had much of a pullback. We come from afar, and I don't want to be chasing this right now. Wait for 30-minute counter closures, and this thing's just continuing to move, so it's a little bit difficult on GJ. But we'll see. Gold could present. Gold's looking okay. Sure, I love it when people say you go into education for 3 years, like uni, or what to do, what to come out for a job that gets you 20 to 50k or whatever, but you won't put a year into trading to make uncapped income. Yeah, that's true. Especially, you know, it is the unknown. I mean, you can make it's unlimited as to what you can make out of trading. Also, with the use of obviously prop firms and that nowadays, there's ways to get higher capital, higher amount of capital to trade with. But yeah, you just need to, you know, give it time, find your way, and it will reward you, that's for sure. It's helped reward me, it's helped me with many things, and it will continue to do so. Cakes, not a problem, mate. Pleasure. So reality of it is, though, guys, it's not a get rich quick scheme that a lot of people, you know, think of it when they, you know, come across the wrong accounts and wrong profiles on social media. It is a grind and it takes time. That's all I'll say. Some people, yes, they get lucky. I got very lucky when I started. I got really lucky, but I blew it all very quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. What zone for buy? Well, for gold, look, there could be options to potentially buy it from above this 27.10. we do respect that point, because again, the weekly is in an uptrend. Obviously the high time frame is to the upside. Daily, again, you could argue, or the way I see it, structure wise, it's actually bearish, but it's trending bullish. So don't get me wrong, where it begins to flip the structure is above this swing point here. But yes, I can see it is trending bullish. Plus you got the counter probabilities to the upside, but you cannot deny the fact it's at a strong level of resistance. Seeing we're at that strong level of resistance, see the 4-hour rejection zone, and the way the weekly is forming, strong bullish candle. So I could look for my potential buys as well on the pullback. So where it pulls back and respects support, it's obviously pulled back, but if it respects this level now, could be potential options. Now let's watch gold, guys. Let's have a look. It needs to close below in order for there to be valid entry on the 15. If it does not close below, then we're waiting for the 30 minutes to close below. It's come from consolidation, so the best thing in this situation is to simply wait for a 30-minute closure. It's the higher time frame, it's a stronger confirmation. Obviously the higher the time frame, the stronger the confirmation. So there is no entry for me just here. What I like about this though is the fact that it's popped down without the upper wick and broken low the previous candle. Now it's popping back up to create the upper wick. So based off pure price action, if we were to pop up a little bit higher, tapping back in, which is done, just tapping back into the range, there would be no need for it to pull back down and break its own low again if it was to continue bullish. That being said, if it did retest low, come back down after pulling back into the range above, perhaps what it's done just here is grab a little bit more liquidity from the market in order to make the move once it breaks below that support. So what I normally be looking for is a sell stop below the low of this bullish candle, but it's just a little bit unpredictable at the moment, gold, the way it's been behaving of late. I did get caught out with that trade the other day. I was about 6 pips in profit within a minute, within about 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and it just completely went the other way. So I'd rather just be a little bit more patient with it. That is the option if anyone's interested. Anyone's interested in a option on gold shortly, you'd be looking at potential sell stop as if this candle breaks its own low again. Thank you for all the follows, guys, and welcome everyone on TikTok and YouTube. It will drop at 1. Yeah, potentially could drop. Or London loading. It is 13 and a bit minutes away. Sean, all good, mate. You have a good weekend and well done this week. And you too, you have a good night, good day where you are, and yeah, catch you soon. Joe on gold, it's because there's no zone otherwise. It's a tiny one, so yeah, close below, I suppose. Yeah, close just below. I love to see this pause though. I would really love to see a little bit of a pause just now, because it's a big move already for a 15-minute candle coming from consolidation. If there was the 30, different story. It's a stronger confirmation. But you've got to consider the fact that this 15-minute candle has already moved over 30 pips. So I'm just patiently gonna wait for a 30-minute closure. But if this candle closed weak bullish and it closed below, or closed below the high of the gray zone is what I should be saying, then I potentially could look for the sell at London open, because what we're going to have is a very strong 30-minute closure. Still going to close below the body of that bullish candle. So that's what I want to see in a 30. I want to see a closure below the body of the bullish candle, preferably the 15 closing weak bullish. Oof, look at that drop. So if anyone did look to take that entry, you probably would have been slipped. I'm assuming you would have been slipped the way that thing just dropped. This is just gold. This is the volatility. It's been all over the shop for this past week. Trading market? No, I'm not currently in any trade. I'm waiting for the 30. MK, thank you for sharing the live. Sorry, TikTok, just trying to catch up. I can't scroll and it just keeps moving. Three types, doesn't it lead to shorts if we break low? Yeah, well, I mean, you'd be looking okay at the moment if you took a short, if anyone did take it. This is spot gold. Yeah, so it's looking all right. All right, so my next option, so I got to reassess. Next options are for continuation sells if it doesn't just melt now. The other option is a limit order sell. Seeing what we've done is we've come from a daily high, create a low, create a pullback, and now we're starting to trend again. So the sell limit could be an option at London Open as well. That's what I'm currently going to be waiting for, just to see where this candle closes. But we've come from a long way back to look for the impulse entry within this 30-minute candle. So I'm all good to take to wait for the closure of the 30. All good, Joe. Ben, morning to you, brother. Hope you're well. Quickly scope around, guys. Use also sustained that move from off the back of the news. That support now. 30-minute is bearish. How's the weekly falling? Assuming it's bearish. Yeah. Yeah, GU is a little bit tricky at the current level it's at.
I found it really hard to trade GU at the beginning of the year. So
yeah,
I didn't find really entries. So also today, so it makes a big move. And also it's coming up again, but maybe only to create the resistance and then to go back down. Because the news was not very good.
No.
So,
yeah, I reckon I'd be waiting for a pullback for a potential sell. It doesn't necessarily need to pull back to 122.2, but if it creates that lower high and you get the right signal, then yeah, I'd be looking for a similar scenario, for an option to sell it. Sorry guys, TikTok, it's moving. A buy or sell. Not doing nothing right now. If looking at gold, I'm waiting for a sell. Waiting for 7 minutes for London Open, and we potentially could have options to place a sell. Joe Button got a sell at 27.15. Nice one. Can I say, looking good. Danger Gaming, what is the currency? Gold. So XAU USD, gold against the US dollar. Three horn steer. By entry maybe at 2700. Slow down, yeah, it's a good area to be looking for buys at the support. Gold at its finest at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it would have just given you about 10 pips because remember this did drop first and break the low. So well done if anyone did take a little cheeky entry. Ben, yeah, like limit order sells whilst waiting to confirm the move downwards. Yeah, potentially. Just need to wait for the 30 closure. But again, I think this just goes to show the importance of waiting patiently for closures at the moment because it's done this throughout the week. It's really been very difficult to take the impulse entries because for the most part they've pulled back and ended up closing back below resistance or back above support. Danger gaming, and at the moment I'm looking for a sell. There's nothing just now. It could be in 5.5 minutes. Stoots, I think that's how you pronounce it. Are you looking at order block entry? No, I'm looking for the sell to be honest, but you could look for the buys from it. What I'd be looking for is actually you may have a bit of a confirmation. It'd be better if it was the 30, but the 15's obviously popped below. The 15 may close back bullish above. Let's see if we've got anything in a 5-minute within it. And say if this was the closure and we closed bullish engulfing, I mean, we'll see where it's at. Still preferring the sells. I don't quite yet. I need to wait. Just need to wait for the closure and for London Open. Danger, I don't think I can because I've had issues. I get bans. If you want the full screen, you jump across and watch me on YouTube, mate. Link is in the bio in my profile. Ah, fuck's sake. There it goes. You can't. Fucking TikTok. You can't mention link in the bio. It's fucking bullshit, honestly. TikTok's just fucking rank. Shits me to tears. You can dance around with your fucking tit hanging out. You can do all that shit. That's fine. But just say to someone, link is in a bio to watch on YouTube, and it's bad. You go fuck yourself, TikTok. Seriously. Fucking shit, honestly. Sorry, guys. Sorry if you're listening to car with kids. I'm pissed off because frustrating. It's frustrating. I got a lot more viewers on TikTok than what I do on YouTube, so it's really frustrating. It's just like you've got to, like a horse with blinkers on TikTok. I hope they just ban the whole freaking thing across the board around every Western country, shove it up the ass.
Did you make some investigation maybe, because it seems
mate,
that
you
there's
can't.
an algo.
You can't. You try contacting anyone on TikTok.
No, I mean maybe making some Google research. Maybe other persons have same issues like you. They got banned, and maybe there is an algorithm.
I have no idea. I have no idea how it works. It just gets me in tears.
It's frustrating, I can imagine.
Yeah, you mentioned link. That's all I did. And you can't speak to a real person. It's all robots. Well, what is your concern? What is your problem? Why are you appealing this? Good joke, honestly. Yeah, Jay, it's just so frustrating. They really need to get their shit together, TikTok. I might jump on their competitor, which apparently everyone in the US is jumping across onto. I don't remember what it's called. Red something. All you can do is submit appeal. You can't even give a reason why you're appealing. That's just all you can do is click do you want to appeal or submit appeal. Anyway, gold bouncing back above support. Aaron, join at a very interesting time. I can't. Oh, mate. And shove it up the backside TikTok, honestly. I wish I could actually speak to someone from there, and I just want to understand why it's cool to have young girls dance around with basically next to nothing on, and that's fine. But someone is legitimately trying to educate for free on a stream. I'm not asking anyone to invest in what I do. I'm not asking anyone to join the VIP or anything. I'm not saying join it. It's there. You guys know where to find it if you want to join it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to pull anyone's arms or twist anyone's arms or whatever. It's just an absolute joke. So every time I get banned, I'm starting to stand. So I can't mention, baby, I cannot direct anyone to nothing, basically. All right, London Open, guys. Gold's back above support. So 15-minute, it's closed bullish. And it's popped up. This is difficult. There's nothing right now. I was going to say if it pops down and creates a long low wick and rejects, then maybe a cheeky little buy, but forget it. It's popped straight up. BJ bouncing at a very minor time frame support, so there's nothing on GJ as well. Scary stories is support and resistance the same as liquidity. Need help clarifying? Well, areas of liquidity are usually found at support and resistance, but liquidity is built up more so in areas of consolidation. So this sort of area here is generally a build-up of liquidity. What you can do to determine that is use a few indicators. I think there's VWAP or something. I know there's one lazy bear volume indicator by a certain creator, but it's a paid indicator. I don't have TradingView Pro, so I can't use it. And what it does across the screen to the left hand side here, it will show you like the spikes in volume and where they're more predominant, and it's always at levels of consolidation. So it's probably a little bit different. They are areas where you potentially have liquidity, or the areas that price tends to you know, it's like a magnet. Price tends to gravitate to those areas. I think shove up gas. Do a short video on that. Oh, they're gonna ban me like they banned US. I think I lost the account again. I think that's 3 strikes. So freaking frustrating, honestly. And movies, yep, closed inside. I mean, this is very nitpicking, and for the sake of trying to look for a trade, if it broke its own high again, I think it's a good chance it's going to come up this time. But it, in my opinion, isn't really high quality, and the market is just a bit all over the shop right now. But seeing it's dropped again into below the range, if it does now flip and break its own high, that is probably the best bet. I don't feel it's a, you know, really solid entry though, and I think it's trying to force something, so I'm not going to be taking it.
Yeah, and if you look on the M50, there's not really a margin there.
No, it's just pure price action, but I just, yeah, it's not a quality entry in my opinion. Oh, you're not helping dumb down the population, so they ban you? Yeah, I know. By dancing around pointless bloody music and whatever they go on about in TikTok these days, who knows? Talking about the bloody makeup and all that crap. Frankly, I mean, it's what maybe it's called, I'm not sure. Volume profile indicator. Let me. There's so many. There was one volume, some sort of profile indicator from Lazy Bear, which is the one that I used to use when I was swing trading and had trading pro at the time. So I'm not sure which one it is. Anyway, I can't use it, so it's like bang for life and you can't do any. Yeah, that's probably next, because again I got banned for whatever, how many days it was last time. Oh, it's actually quite soon, to be honest. Didn't realize the date. Don't really want to remember, do you, once you start to get a little bit older? These years here to come and go very quickly these days. Beats, exactly. I mean, you don't get any trial. It's just, do you want to appeal? Submit appeal. Know what is your reason or anything. There's nothing. Just frustrating. Yeah, I mean, again, decent. The only half decent entry would be if the 5-minute close very strong bullish up in that bearish candle. 15 will be breaking its own high again. On an open candle will be breaking its own high again. But again, I think it's just trying to pull a rabbit out of the hat. Follow in itself from 27.16. Nice one. That's perfect, mate. Well done. If someone get me in touch with a real person at TikTok, I'll stream it live on YouTube, the conversation. I love ripping into his customer service, but I know it's not their fault. They're not the ones, you know, come up with these rules, but still. Policy training. They give you an option. Take policy training and answer 7 questions. And if you get them right, your ban is uplifted. What a freaking joke. Laughable. TikTok, absolutely laughable. Joe's just in this one of the longest periods you've had where there's been absence of good quality entries. How does it compare to other times? Yeah, but it's also start of the year, so I think with, you know, the inauguration to come on Monday, I think it is, with Trump, it's a US bank holiday as well. I think it's a bit of the unknown as well, so maybe that's playing a bit of a part. But yeah, it's been quite a lengthy period of having to wait for entries which just don't really tend to play out, or don't eventuate. Yeah, it's just part of the game. I remember a point in time a couple years back where I wasn't even trading gold and GJ was pretty much my only pair, and it was nasty as for about a good week, more couple weeks in a 4-hour range where just was stuck in basic consolidation. Oh. Frank, you're gonna sell at the moment? Okay, DJ. Yeah, bearish engulfing here would be a decent catalyst. Don't have a great deal of margin though. Based off the liquidity candle, I mean, yeah, that potentially could have been an entry just there. Everything is very, very impulsive at the moment though. Share your feedback. Is just yes or no, like isn't it effective? Do you understand how your account will be affected? Yes or no? Share your feedback. There's just nothing. You can't type out your reasons or anything. Oh, yeah, I mean, the news moved GJ, but now it's a little bit like that. Gold's a little bit indecisive. Struggling to find quality entry, to be honest, I really am. 15's flipped, broken its own high. So, based off that, probably the best option right now. Safer option, we wait for a 5-minute candle. But again, it's just nitpicking because it's not moving with any definitive direction. Very difficult to get involved in entries at the moment. So, can't direct anyone to the profile page. Can't click on any other freaking website that might seem as though you're directing people somewhere for your own good. Help us out, TikTok, honestly. Help us out. suppose that's why you guys getting banned in the US. Very frustrating, guys. So the only potential entry that I could see happening while I'm on the chart for this stream is if this next M15 sells off and closes very strong bearish, because I'm not quite satisfied I've got enough to buy it. And also it's not really the margin now at all. There is literally, I think it's about 7 pips. Once you count for spread, probably even less. Yeah, so it'll be about 7 pips once you count for spread. And for me, I prefer to sell GJ today. I don't think any of the viewers from there jump across to YouTube ever. The amount of times I say to them, make sure to jump across to YouTube because I could get banned at any point, and they never do. Frustrations. Bitcoin over 101k, wow. My width position is still well in drawdown, I'm sure. Yeah, still well and truly in drawdown, but nowhere near being liquidated, so that's a good thing. Let me know. The market's been tricky, and it's just I'm a high confirmation trader and just haven't had them. Going for gold sell and a closure below, never got it. Got a tricky level to be buying from. GJ, that was the news, so you got to get involved. The back of news, and yeah, rather sell it. Looking for a potential pullback. 15-minute gold can be nice, but you're going to struggle to find the margin to sell it to the next level, but it could be an option. Well, what's your thoughts on dollar CAD? Could it drop when Trump takes over? It's one I'm watching. Yeah, most definitely could. Just depends what happens, you know, with obviously tariffs and that, but I would have thought that it's more likely to go up because I think US is slugging Canada with some tariffs. I can't remember exactly how much, what percent, so that will likely weaken the Canadian dollar against the US dollar, I would have thought. So it all depends on the rhetoric, but if I was a betting man, and just based off, you know, what I know about fundamental trading and news and things like that, I think it's more likely to head up. And that's the same for all the majors. I across the board, I think the majors, or pound dollar, Aussie dollar, EU, they're all going to go down against the US dollar. So basically US dollar is going to strengthen, is what I'm trying to say. That's my personal opinion of it. If you to ask me, I mean, I just had a look at it before. Technically wise, it's at a very, very strong level of resistance. Based off that, you'd be looking for potential rejection, but it doesn't necessarily need to reject. And with the catalyst about that being, obviously, with Trump being inaugurated and the potential for tariffs to be placed on Canada, I would assume that would likely weaken the Canadian dollar against the US dollar. Trump's not a stupid man. He's a very intelligent man, and I would have thought he'd know that it's probably better if the dollar was a little bit weaker to promote more trade amongst other countries using US dollar, and also to promote more exports from America. I mean, like for me now, if I was to buy anything from the States, cost a fortune because the Aussie dollar is terrible. It's the same for all the majors, so it doesn't necessarily you know, encourage the Western countries with their weak currency to trade with the US. So I wouldn't be surprised if Trump does something to quell the strength of the US dollar a little bit. Rank your TP is 188.731. Yeah, it's around this zone. That looks it. Yeah, so tapped into a bit of daily support. BJ is very tricky to sell it without the pullback. So yeah, I'm just waiting on gold, waiting to see if it does reject. And again, the only potential entry I can see right now is to sell if it does reject and close back below that support. So we've got 8 minutes and a bit remaining to see if that does eventuate. Or wrong way around. All good, mate. I could be very wrong. I could be the wrong way around. I mean, no one knows, to be honest. Aaron, he has discussed he wants lower yields and lower dollar. Yeah, so there you go. He's a smart man. He knows it's probably in the best interest because it's just too strong at the moment. He still would probably want a strong dollar, but the way it is at the moment is just easy strong. But it's also because every other Western country, the majors, all the currencies tied to the US dollar, the major currencies, they're pretty much in the same boat, same predicament. The dollars, their particular dollar is weakening due to you know, some obviously economical pressures. The Australian dollar's a whipping boy. We just cop it big time, especially if something comes out of China. That's the end. The only dollar dies. So irrespective of what comes out of the RPA, it just fuels an extra strength to the depth of the dollar. That's all it does. But even if it's hawkish news, which would normally lead to strength, and they're saying how, I think the Aussie came out to say, I think it was CPI or something was higher than predicted, so they're less likely to cut rates, but the Aussie still dies. It just continues to be in a free fall down. So we really are a whipping boy. We just cop it. Well, same as me if I'm watching it. Paul, can you see it? Definitely. Yeah, I think it's not a matter of if but when, to be honest. I think it definitely could come back down to the COVID lows, that 50, 55 sort of region, and potentially down to 50, even below it. At 50, 55, I think it's eventually going to come back down to that point. All right, GJ buys look alright. It's against the bias, it's against the structure, it's against everything I would normally do on a Friday. That's the best bet at the moment. This closed as is, in anticipation that it's likely going to pull back to retest that zone where it might reject, and you might be able to get a sell option. That is by far the best thing at the moment, as far as you've got a nice strong catalyst potentially. You have 15-minute liquidity candle and also a 30-minute bullish engulfing candle. But if it pops up much further and you back the areas you wanted margin. Because we've not yet retested this zone, so my concern is that we're going to tap into it, potentially reject, come back down, continue to trend bearish. Come on, gold. Well, that's your thoughts as well. Yeah, it's not what I wanted to do, but I think it's going to happen. All right, come on, gold picking up some steam. Remember, we're going to be closing a 30-minute on the closure of this M15, and it could be the first time since popping below multiple times down to 15 especially, that we've actually been able to close below. So, I mean, the cleaner options below that 15-minute support, but we would have closed pretty much as is. I may look for an entry as it begins to break the bearish candles like the current candle. We need to wait for the closure. The entry will be determined by pretty much how this candle closes, and again, it has to close strong. I don't want it to start popping back, then forget it, I'm not interested. If it does what it's doing now, I'm not interested. Popping back up. DJ's made the move. Again, all good. No confirmation, so
Wahnsinn. It's so hard to find entries right now. So
Agreed.
I'm struggling, and I didn't understand why we didn't find entries right now. So is the market changing?
No,
I don't know.
not necessarily. Again, it's just the cycles it goes through. Sometimes we're going to get multiple entries in a day, or we're going to get entries popping up left, right, and center. And there's going to be times like this where it's just not going to present. Things are, a bit all over the shop, so nothing's really sustained while we're on a chart. For the most part, London session has been terrible. There's been no sustained move. For the most part, every time something looks like it's about to break, it pulls straight back into where it came from. And that's what it's doing just now. So just give it time, and should be right. We'll get our options. Who knows? Could be next week where we have a full week of quality entries, appearing.
Yeah, so that's right. What you have said is, I also observed this, that at the New York session there's a lot more volume and moves in the market as in the London session right now.
Fair enough.
That's correct.
Yeah. So perhaps that's when, if you're able to, then maybe it's best to look at the charts then. But unfortunately for me, it's just way too late to do it every night when I'm up early most mornings. So
that's clear.
Yeah. All right. So gold's closed above. There's nothing. GJ, there's no margin. So that resistance, which may act as resistance for support. So for me, it'd be the same game plan. There's just no margin and buy it. So I'd still rather it. Yeah, and it can do whatever it wants. I'd really like for it to reject a strong bearish below, and that's when the sellers might present. But I won't be on for it because I'm gonna go make my dinner, to be honest. I've had enough, guys. I'm tired. Not gonna get anything right now, so I'm just gonna call it. Yeah, but either way, guys, I appreciate the support throughout the week. Sorry it's been difficult to find quality entries. We'll get our time. Don't worry, guys. Just stick with me. Stick to the stream. We learn lessons every day, which is important. And again, we'll get our quality entries appearing shortly, hopefully next week. So guys, if you have not done so, make sure to hit like button on the way up. Franco and Bruno, you guys take care. Hope you have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Enjoy
I'll be
your
on
weekend.
Yeah, I'll be on Sunday, but I know you won't be, Franco. I know you're busy, so I'll be on Sunday for an update and a sim session for the members. That's about it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you guys. And if you could hit the like button on the way up, and I do very much appreciate the support. Take care, guys. Have a good weekend. Cheers, my friends. Bye.